You are welcome to yet another intriguing class in government. In today's lesson, I will be teaching you pre-colonial political systems in Nigeria. We shall be looking at the various political administrations in Nigeria before the advent of colonialism. First, let's look at the lesson objectives. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to discuss the Hausa Fulani pre-colonial system, explain the segmentary political system of the Igbo, and as well as discuss the political system of the old Oyo Empire. Now let's take them one after the other by looking at the Hausa Emirate system. The Hausa Emirate system started with the Uthman Danfodio Jihad. It was a centralized system of government. It brought about the end of Hausa Kingdom and the establishment of Fulani Emirates. The system abolished paganism in the Hausa land so as to bring about Islam. After the Jihad, which is the Holy War, the Fulani Emirate was divided into two capitals. One was the Caliphate under Sokoto, and the other was under Gwandu, east and west. And Uthman Danfodio made his son Bello to be in charge of Sokoto, while his brother Abdullahi to be in charge of Gwandu. The Caliphate was thereafter divided into various emirates, headed by an emir. And these emirs were appointed from different families, at least 2 or 3 families, by the emir of either Sokoto or Gwandu. So the emir of either Sokoto or Gwandu were in charge of appointing the various emirs. These emirs were assisted by certain number of officials. They include the Waziri, who was the prime minister, Kadadima, the person in charge of the capital, Madawaki, commander of the army, and Dogari, who was the head of the police. There were also some other officials that assisted the emir. They were the Maji. Maji was the treasurer. The Sakin Ruwa was the person in charge of river fishing. Sakin Father, the head of palace workers, and as well as the Saki Power, who was the head of the butchers. So the Hausa system was highly centralized. The emirate was divided into districts, and these districts were administered by the person known as Hakimi. Hakimi helps to collect tax on behalf of the emir, and these tax include the Jangali, which is the cattle tax. So it's Hakimi that administered the various districts. Let's look at the legislative functions. The legislative functions will have to look at the Sharia laws which were used to govern the emirate. Though the emir can make laws on matters not covered by the Islamic laws. Any matters that are not covered by Islamic laws, the emir can make such decisions. Now, the judicial system was based on the Sharia law, as we have said before, and the judges were the Akalis who presided over the people in the Akali courts, but they are to carry out decisions on civil matters, any issues that has to do with serious offenses or crime that require capital punishment were referred to the emir. The emirate system was highly centralized. The emir possessed almost all the powers. In fact, he was an authoritarian ruler. So let's look at the functions of the emir. The emir was the spiritual head. He presided over the emir's court as judge. He maintains law and order. He was the supreme ruler. He makes laws in areas that were not covered by the Sharia. He allocates farmland, and also he collects tax Now let's look at the Igbo pre-colonial administration. This system has been described as segmentary, decentralized, or acephalous. Now the Igbo people were not having a single head unlike the Hausa Fulani Emirates. Each village was a small republic in the sense that they were free to make decisions on their own. We had the village assembly, which was made up of the family heads. And these family heads are called the offer title holders. They are the most senior from each family. And they are highly respected, even within the family and in the entire village. Among the offer title holders is the most senior. That is the most senior among the offers. He is called the Okpara. And whenever there is a council elders meeting, it is the Okpara that presides over the meeting, and decisions are reached through consensus. Again, we had the age grade, and the age grade were youths who helped to maintain law and order within the village, and as well as implement the policies and decisions reached by council of elders. They as well perform public duties like cleaning and clearing the roads to farmlands. Now the executive within the Igbo pre-colonial system was made up of family heads, which were the council of elders, that is the offer title holders. They meet to discuss from time to time, and every male adult has the power to contribute to the decision-making process. The judiciary are also the family heads who help to settle disputes within the family. However, when it is a case that is very serious like murder and theft, such a case is referred to the Council of Elders, which is presided over by the Okpara. We also had the set of wealthy individuals who are the other title holders. They are highly influential and respected, so their views are taken seriously because they belong to the higher class and being successful sons of the soil. In general, the Igbo political system was more of a republican. Of course, decisions were reached by consensus, with different institutions playing different but important roles in the village. Now let's look at the features of the Igbo pre-colonial administrations. One of the features was religious or judicial powers, which was exercised by the priest or diviner. Then the market square was the place where council of elder meetings hold. There was also grave punishment like banishment for serious offenses. Another pre-colonial administration we need to look at is the Old Oyo Empire. This empire practiced checks and balances, and it is a very important system of government practiced within the Yoruba, that is western part of Nigeria. Now, looking at the Old Oyo Empire, the political head was the Alaafin, and he was assisted by 7 Oyomesis. And these Oyomesis are regarded to as the kingmakers. They also advised the king on issues pertaining to the administration of the empire. The king, however, can decide to either accept or reject the advice given to him by the Oyomesis. The Old Oyo Empire was a very vast empire, and indeed one of the most popular kingdom within the Yoruba pre-colonial administrations. Now, looking at the Old Oyo Empire, it is important that we look at the key individuals that play certain functions. We have spoken of the Oyomesis, that is the kingmakers. These Oyomesis were headed by the Bashoru, who acted as the prime minister. The Oyomesis could remove the Alaafin by presenting him with empty calabash or a calabash with a parrot egg, which means that he has been rejected by the people and as such should commit suicide. The Aremu was also an important individual and he was the eldest son of the Alaafin. Though he cannot succeed his father, he can only assist his father in the day-to-day administration of the empire. Aside the Aremu was the provincial governors. They are the Bades or the Obas, and they help in paying tributes and homage to the Alaafin of Oyo, even though they help the Alaafin to administer certain units and components within the empire. Again, we had the Are Ona Kakanfo, who was the head of the army. The Are Ona Kakanfo, being the head of the army, is not and must not suffer any ignominious defeat. Whenever his army suffer defeat, the Are Ona Kakanfo must commit suicide. Though there was one Afoja Are Ona Kakanfo who ran into exile instead of committing suicide. We had the Ogboni Society. The Ogboni Society possessed judicial powers. They helped to preserve the people's cultural beliefs, and the society influenced events in the society. They could consult the oracle and help check the excesses of the Oyomesis. In conclusion, this lesson is an intellectual discourse of the pre-colonial political systems in Nigeria. The political administrations in the Hausa, Fulani, Igbo, and the old Oyo Empire have been comprehensively examined. Now let's look at the assignment you have. For your assignment, you should 1. Compare the judicial system of the pre-colonial Hausa Fulani Society with that of the Igbo. Examine the functions of the Ogboni Society in Old Oyo Empire and highlight briefly the features of Hausa Fulani pre-colonial political system. Do these assignments in your notes till we meet again. Goodbye.